The crew is silent as you lead your captive to the rooftop rendezvous you designated before the run. Just as you planned, you find the others waiting there for you. Li Tai Lung's artificial features are molded into an expression of aloof intellect and mocking rigidity. The plastic that makes up his face is soft, flexing with the motion of his underlying musculature. Overlapping wafers of silver and bronze foil buried inside the material catch the light as he moves. It's the work of a master craftsman. Cyberware as a form of modern art, likely commissioned at modern art prices, an ostentatious display of status and wealth. The plastic-faced man examines the zip ties that bind his wrist with an expression of detached amusement. Isabel runs a long cable from her PDA to the jack in the back of his head and then nods at you. Well, this is interesting, I must say. He chuckles, an odd hollow sound. I don't recall ever having been in this situation before. Usually I simply awaken to find myself in a strange new environment, wondering what happened. Odd way to live, don't you think? It's not hard to get used to really, it's my business after all. It protects me and it protects my clients. It serves your crew with detached indifference. Looking at the lot of you, I think it's safe to assume that a violent extraction of information is the next order of business. Oh, you can back on that, asshole. Who focuses his attention on the plastic-faced man's kneecaps. So, you chose to grab me in an intimate moment. I suppose that is wise. Only moderate resistance, but the girl paid for it, didn't she? Be considerate. Clearly, the preservation of metahuman life isn't a high priority for you. He took her down, he didn't kill her. Uncle Bob, we have a problem. Isabel stares down at her PDA. Okay, can I get the fucking... No? How do you affect these things? Okay, I'm confused by the options. I just don't know. Apparently, I'm guessing it's because we're in a dialogue. Okay, Dreamland's neural inhibitor software isn't interacting with this guy's cortical implant the same way it worked with her own. It's only going to slow the memory wipe. How long do I have? I don't know. We're talking about software I didn't write interacting with two different pieces of headwear I have never seen before. We're lucky this works at all. He begins to a flurry of two-handed thumb taps on her PDA. I'll try and key in some buffering routines or something to slow it as much as I can, but my confidence is low. Isabel shakes her head at the PDA, her face pinched in frustration. This guy's memory is going to get wiped one way or another. I'd start asking questions. Tense, very tense. The silky plastic of his face slides into a smooth smile. I guess I'll answer your questions rather slowly. Wonder what's under that mask of yours? Don't bother looking. Neither of us will enjoy it, I guarantee. Besides, I was joking. You don't need to step through a process. My clients know I'm a professional and that I take extraordinary precautions to protect their secrets. If those precautions were compromised, it was due to an extreme circumstance. His chin lifts a bit and his tone becomes even more matter-of-fact. You ask your questions, Uncle Bob. I'll answer them as efficiently as I can. When we're done, I'll shake hands with a stranger and walk away wondering what just happened. What is prosperity? Prosperity Tower is Chang Mechanical Engineering's corporate headquarters. Prosperity is also one of Josephine Chang's pet projects. Which one do you want to know about first? Tick-tock. Prosperity Project. Well, that's going to be challenging. You see, the Prosperity Project is Joe Chang's best kept secret. And the best way to keep secret is to not tell anyone, even someone whose memory can be wiped. All I know is that prosperity is something built deep inside Kowloon Wall City, some kind of experiment that her son was working on. Edward Chang. No wait, Raymond Black, my father. Who stands up tall, takes an amused tone he gets when someone's about to get hurt. Hey, Mr. Plastic, maybe you could settle a bet between me and my brother. Wu puts his face close to Lee's, his breath fogging the wild plastic. Now I think Raymond is still alive, but my brother here isn't so sure. Wu's voice drops to a stage whisper. Which is it, buddy? Raymond Black, dead or alive? I got 20 new on this. Guys, a status bar just popped up. It isn't moving yet, but you never know when it might take a jump. The little Decker watches her screen for a moment. It's stuck at 0 right now, but the process is starting and there's nothing I can do to stop it. Here, give me that. Lee reaches out a perfectly manicured hand to Isabel. I'll show you something. Isabel pulls away on instinct and looks at you. This is a calculated gamble. We are running out of time and holding all the guns. I have information you want, and betting that if I share it with you, you won't kill me when this is over. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get much out of this. We're going to have to do a mission against the corporation anyway to find out more, I think. So I don't see this is going to do much of a harm. Let him have it. I mean, if we're not gonna get anything out of this, we're gonna kill him anyway. Actually, we're gonna kill him anyway. I don't really trust you. I can respect that. We'll go hands-free. It'll take a little longer, but I believe in show, don't tell. His eyes become unfocused and he remains frozen a full minute. There. A low-resolution video recording pops onto the screen. A small weathered man, possibly in his 70s, is strapped into a high-tech chair and connected to an elaborate scientific instrument behind him. The recording is from the first-person perspective, presumably the plastic-faced man's. This is from when I first brought the asset, your father, to Prosperity Tower. His eyes remain unfocused, still as a statue. After I took him from the tea house on the docks. The video continues and a confident voice can be heard from off-screen, a woman's. You can't make out what she says. The point of view turns to the right and a graceful woman of indeterminate age steps into view. She is clearly advanced in years, but access to a nourishing diet and cutting-edge pharmaceuticals afford her the vitality of someone much younger. She speaks directly to the camera. Her tone is hard. I warned you to be gentle with him, Mr. Lee. He looks over at the old man with genuine concern. He looks as if someone tased him. Voice of the plastic-faced man replies, I assure you, Mrs. Tang, I was gentle. He walked out of the tea house under his own power. The old man speaks, his voice very hoarse. May I have some water, mother? My throat feels like it's on fire. He responds tenderly. Yes, of course, Edward. I'll have someone bring you some ice chips. Plastic-faced man speaks again, his voice lowered. Your son has apparently been through some sort of ordeal. He appeared demented at times, and he's been mumbling about stopping something. Prosperity, I think. Yes, well, that won't be happening. The woman addresses her son, speaking a bit too loudly as if he is hard of hearing. We won't be stopping prosperity, Edward. I want you to get that out of your mind. Do you understand? I understand perfectly well, mother. There's no need to shout, but I won't give up. Prosperity must be stopped. All those poor people. The woman frowns and shakes her head. I know, Edward, I know. Those poor people. I've done a lot of good to make up for it since you left. Shelters, hospitals, all sort of good work. Now it's time to do something for you. Something I should have done a long time ago, perhaps. From the left side of the screen, a man enters in a white lab coat. The woman looks up and nods, and the lab-coated man places a chrome apparatus on the old man's head. Raymond speaks dreamily as if a drug has started to its work. What is this, Mama? What are you doing to me? I'm fixing you, Edward. He walks up close to the old man, strokes his head tenderly, leans toward to kiss it. All you can see is failure. You're incapable of seeing the good in what you've done. Man in the white lab coat presses a button on Raymond's chair, and a robotic arm swings into view. Cobalt blue light springs from its tip, and the arm quickly circumnavigates the old man's head, bathing it in oscillating blue. A high-definition three-dimensional image of Raymond's brain appears on the wall behind. I've been inspired by Mr. Lee here. The woman turns and looks at the camera. We are going to do some editing of your memories to relieve you of your burden. Raymond mumbles dreamily, desperately fighting to get the words out. No, Mama, wait. I figured out what to do. And then he is asleep. The woman moves closer to the cameras. Your payment will be made according to our agreement. He turns away with her voice cold, once the rest of them are dead. Video ends and the plastic-faced man exhales slowly. I'm taking a big risk showing you that. I don't give a rat's ass. Who turns to you? You see, I knew it. I told you. Raymond's alive. Tang's holding him at Prosperity Tower. He may be alive, but it looks like his mama's gonna erase part of his memory. Just like Johnny Plastic here. He's gonna try to fix him. What kind of a mother would do that? Something catches her eye and she looks down suddenly. Shit. Isabel thumbs her PDA furiously and it's no news. That's it, he's wiping. She pulls the cable from her PDA and drops it to the ground in aggravation. Oh, hello. Plastic-faced man looks down at his zip-tied hands and then slowly surveys his surroundings. Well, isn't this awkward? What do you want to do with this guy? He's got no memory, so it's probably safe to let him go. The auntie said he should take a dirt nap. All the same to me. End him. But he gave us everything we asked for and more. He's seen our faces. I have nothing to connect them with. If it's all the same to you, I'd prefer to just walk away. Yep, end him. This is about sending a message, and we are going to need our allies. Trying to basically get a pang of conscience here for taking out an asset. So it's again, I think, misplaced morality and empathy. If you want to go that far, I mean, why are you killing the guards? They probably have families and all that shit. So, and you're the one instigating the trouble. So we could have, if we just sweat a little, we could probably either avoid or take them down. We're in a situation when one major power is decided that we need to die, constantly setting up traps to kill us. I think it's not in any way unreasonable to send messages the other way, that this this isn't just a one-way street. I mean, the shit you started, it's gonna come back. Your assets are gonna be stripped away and we're going to ruin you. It's the reason I didn't want to trust him with the PDA. I mean the plastic face man is because I knew at the end that I'm going to just shoot him. So I didn't want to owe him any favors or anything. One way or another we were going to get that information. And one way or another he's gonna end up dying. So well, I want to keep it on a professional level as much as possible. The trip from Shekip May back to Heoi is quiet as you process the information revealed by the plastic-faced man. Prosperity is a name. Two names, actually. One is a secret project Raymond was working on before he left for Seattle. The other is the corporate headquarters of Chang Mechanical Services. And Prosperity Tower is where Raymond Black is being held, alive. It's also where his memory is in the process of being reprogrammed by his mother, and time is ticking. The plastic-faced man proved surprisingly amenable and quite useful before you killed him. Your next stop is kindly Cheng, if you want to hear this. Come again. You step out of the MTR station into the balmy night air. An impenetrable wall of clouds, heavy with imminent rain, has blown in from the south. It covers the stars, causes them to wink out one by one. You can smell something in the air, something electric. The wind whips up around you and the clouds begin moving in a thick grayscale swirl. The spiral builds and grows, shimmering with faint amber light. As you watch the clouds roll in the sky, the sound of the city retreats. Bubble of soft white noise replaces them, wrapping around your head and reflecting your own heartbeat back at you. You look down from the clouds to see the lights of the docks dancing in a warm, saturated room. Enjoy the stillness. You lean back and take in your surroundings. The boats, the golden glow of the light on the water, the lapping of gentle waves against the docks, and then the first wind tickles your chest, lets you know that something is coming. A moment later, you feel an incredible tightness in your chest. Feels like your heart is being crushed under the foot of a giant. Your vision goes grey and your sense of balance disappears. Gradually, blood rushes in to refill the organ, inflating it like a balloon. Hmm. Try to catch your breath. You grasp for air. It doesn't come. Your breath shallows out, thins, makes you grasp like a suffocating fish. Your chest contracts again and again as you struggle to take breath. You stumble forward and every cell in your body seems to vibrate. The energy thrums inside of you, pulsating. building to an unbearable crescendo, and then you're on the other side of it. You find yourself standing in a familiar courtyard, the walled city. You're back in the walled city, just like in your dreams. You can taste the stench of the place, the mildew and plaster and wet dark stink of the slum. What the crumbling facades of tenement buildings lean into one another above you, closing in on either side and creating a narrow walkway, just like in your dream. There's nowhere else to go, nowhere but forward, down the path ahead. Stay where you are. You plant your feet and wait for something to change, for the walled city to fade away and the highway docks to return. You wait for what feels like hours. Nothing changes. You let your legs carry you forward. You feel a creeping sense of certainty in the back of your mind. And it tells you that you've taken this same walk hundreds of times before. The sense of claustrophobia amounts and builds with every step you take. It feels like you're worming your way forward down a long dark tunnel. The humidity of the place sticks to your skin. As you proceed deeper into the walled city, a low rumble fills the air, the noise of enormous gears in motion. You feel hollow, empty, and with every step you take, you can feel the emptiness growing, an unbearable yearning unlike any hunger you've ever known. Let's stop. You stop walking, plant your feet. The world stops moving around you. Close your eyes and breathe a sigh of relief. When your eyes open again, you find yourself moving forward. You don't remember telling your legs to walk, but that's what they're doing, carrying you forward, deeper into the walled city, just like you did in your dreams, just as you always have. Off in the distance, an alien silhouette beckons to you. It's her, the tall, slender thing from your dreams, the elusive figure that you've always been moving toward but could never quite reach. A crowd of locals line the path ahead, kneeling in supplication. They look emaciated, all skin and bones, clothed head to toe in dirty rags. Examine the kneeling figures. You stare at the nearest of the kneeling figures, a wiry man in his late twenties. He locks eyes with you slowly, his mouth yawns open. The man has no teeth. They've been pulled, and recently, from the looks of it, his gums are bloody, pitted mess. As you stare into the black void of his mouth, his tongue comes lolling out. It looks like it was caught in an industrial accident, a swollen, twisted slab of meat. Corners of the young man's mouth twitch upward into a ghastly smile. What happened? The man with the ruined tongue doesn't respond. He kneels in silence, staring as your feet carry you past him. Seconds later, he fades from view. Your legs carry you deeper and deeper into the beating heart of the tenement. If you haven't reached the center yet, you must be close. It's incredibly hot and humid in here. The sweat rolls down your body in sheets. Your thoughts go hazy with the heat, and a dim sense of unease takes root in the pit of your stomach. Okay, focus on the feeling. You try to concentrate on the unease that you're feeling, but you find it impossible to focus. The omnipresent sound of grinding gears isn't helping. Looking up, you can see where the noise is coming from. A hatch. The same door that you saw in your nightmare back when all of this began. The markings on the door are legible now. A single word in faded yellow paint. Prosperity. Suddenly, impossibly, the alien figure that you've been moving toward is standing right in front of you. At the same time, your vision finally clears. and the ice water runs through your veins. The walled city isn't a slum at all. It's an enormous gaping maw, and the buildings are a forest of crooked teeth. The thing reaches for you with inhuman speed and grace, plunges fingers of polished ivory into your mouth. Slowly, terribly, begins to wrench your jaw open. You can feel your teeth splinter and break, and rough fingers on your shoulder snap you back to reality. The hand clenches into a vice-like grip and yanks you backward off your feet. You come crashing down to the floor of the heavy empty R station. You feel a rush of wind just in front of you, a passing train. What's wrong with you? Banglobeo eyes you coolly. Auntie Ching lost too many runners already. Besides, there are cleaner ways to end your life than jumping in front of a train. It wasn't a suicide attempt. I was under medical attack. Whatever. Now get up and get back to that floating wreck that you sleep in. Human transient. Human refugee. Okay. A pair of dead-eyed transients lean against the abandoned car, up their shoulders slumped. A pile of overstuffed bags lie in a heap on the sidewalk, spilling into the rain-choked gutter. The smaller of the pair look down, and notices that his bags are getting soaked, and does nothing. Seems like he's too exhausted to care. The shorter of the transients slowly shifts his attention to you. His voice comes out hollow and empty. You're one of Cheng's. It isn't a question. What is it to you? Well, hopefully she'll let you leave. He nods his head toward the highway gates and the open road beyond. That's what we're doing. Getting the hell out of here while we still can. If you're smart, you'll follow us. Everyone with half a brain is getting out of this place. Not me. Whatever's happening here, I'm going to figure out what it is and I'm gonna fix it. You're either a fool or you're crazy. Nothing can fix what's coming for the walled city, and Heoi is way too close to that place for comfort. Too close to what? You don't know? Suppose you wouldn't. You're an outsider here, and grow up in the walled city like we did. To answer your question, they are coming. The Yama Kings. Just like the ones in the old stories. Been having dreams about them, just like I did as a kid. But they weren't just dreams this time. They were signs, warnings. What can you tell me about them? That's what my grandfather told me. Respect ghosts and gods, but keep away from them. Come on, Shin, it's time to go. A pair of men, refugees from the looks of them, stand near the city entrance. They are absorbed by the conversation, voices low. The elf sways nervously as he speaks, but the human is steadfast. His gravelly words are harder to make out than the elves, but you can hear the agitation in them. Neither man seems aware of your presence. Telling you, first chance we get, we got to get out of here, leave the country. Things are so backed up that even if the walled city were gutted and cleaned tomorrow, we'd still be wading through the fallout. Prejudice wouldn't just disappear. The elf's head dips up and down in agreement. I know, you're right. You always are. I spoke to my sister. She's on board. Didn't take much convincing either. Those few of us who know about the monsters don't want to be anywhere near the city. Things like that. They leave a mark on a place. It'll never be right again. You say something about monsters? Uh, no, you must have misheard me. No monsters here. Only corporate tyrants. What a silly thing to misheard. Monsters. He lets out a forced chuckle. That's right, monsters. He keeps his voice low. Without breaking eye contact, he leans in toward you. The Yama Kings. He pats the back of his flustered friend. It's all right, Lord. Might as well start talking about it. Not everyone's gonna believe us, but those who do can prepare themselves, like us. Lorne sways uncomfortably, but dips his head up and down in agreement. The man continues. It started as a whisper, a rumor. The Yama Kings are coming to feast on us, the walled city. Well, we took it for what it was, superstitious bullshit. That is, until things started happening. Now the walled city's always been its own kind of hell, but these last few months, somehow, things started getting worse. People got more aggressive, others started spiritual, to spiral emotionally, and our dreams grew more intense, more frightening. It's the Yama Kings. We're sure of it. They're going to destroy our souls and eat our bodies. We have to leave, but there are so many people who can. I just wish we could take them all, Iran. A small tremble shakes his willowy frame. Impossible, Lord. Most we can do is save ourselves. Let's just concentrate on getting out of alive, all right? Well, I wouldn't want to get out of alive. I want to be alive, not get out of it. Iran returns his hard gaze to you. So now you know monsters, Yamakins, are descending upon us from their ethereal thrones, coming to rip our essences apart. The sooner we get out of here, the better. You do what you think's best. If leaving this place behind puts your minds at ease, then do go for it. Thanks, stranger. One of Kindly's enforcers bars the path from the walled city into Haoi, blocking the walkway with his body. A woman in a ragged shawl stands in front of him, her hands clasped, begging to be let through. He doesn't move. Please, you have to let me through. My husband and children are already in Haoi. I need to meet them. I have to. Nice try, but back off. You don't get in here, nobody else does. I need to make a choice. Try to let the guard agree to let her through, or it's it makes no sense for the guard to let her through if he has orders not to let anyone through. You should probably listen to what he says. His boss owns this town. Because the one more person isn't gonna hurt anything, sure. However, if you start to let people through based on that, you're going to basically hit the problem. You're just letting people through, and it's going to be the problem. I mean, if people see someone just being let through for no reason, there it just invites more people to try to get through, and it gets the guard in a lot of trouble. His boss owns this town. And tell his boss that she's wrong. Please, I have to find my family. I don't know your family, woman. Probably don't even have one. I, on the other hand, do have people in Haoi, and if I disobey Auntie Ching, what happens to them won't be pretty. Why does Kindly care about the refugees? If they were content to pass through, she probably wouldn't. But that isn't what these people do. They get out and they try to stay here. With everything going that's going down, the last thing that Kindly wants is to have to worry about is the population of Heo is suddenly tripling, so we aren't taking anybody. Period. Her refugee tears streaked face twisted into a snarl. Big bastard! You won't let us through? I'll come back with so many others. You can't hope to stop us. We can't stay in the walled city. Not with what's coming. We won. Be my guest, woman. Bring as many friends as you like. He pats a conspicuous bulge under his jacket. I'll make sure to have a bullet for each of you. Okay, let's report our success. Clearly we have to go to the tower. It was obvious the moment we learned about it. The walk through the mahjong parlor is punctuated by the tantalizing smell of coconut and fried confection. The crew surrounds kindly Ching, watching uncomfortably as she peels small egg-shaped delicacies from a waffle-like pastry and pops them in her mouth. Each time he does, her eyes close in ecstasy, and soft sound comes from her throat. There you are, Uncle Bob. Your crew here tells me that you've been able to locate and interrogate the plastic-faced man. The straw sandal's eyes narrow and her rusty voice gets edged. They haven't told me his current disposition, however. I assume everything went as I instructed. Yes, Auntie, we took one of Josephine's pieces off the board. Kindly Cheng's nostrils flare with a sharp inhale and his eyes glisten in triumph. That was for you, Nightjar. I trust you got something useful out of him. We got plenty. Who sounds eager? He gave us a data dump on everything he knew about Prosperity Tower, first-hand info. Josephine's headquarters. She puts down the pastry, rubs her nose, considering. That could be useful, I suppose. What do you intend to doing with it? We're gonna rescue Raymond. He's alive, Auntie. Just like I said he was. Josephine's holding him in there. She's doing something to his brain. Something to his brain? He takes another bite of their pastry. What is that old bitch up to now? Based on the memory of Mr. Plastic showed us, it looks like she's trying to rewire her son's memories, using something called ASSIST, Artificial Sensory Induction System technology. It allows the user to record, process, and feed synthetic sensory input into the brain. Like a Simpsons chip. Yes, it's the technology that led to Simpsons. It's also what allows Deckers to enter the Matrix and grants Riggers a neural connection to their drones. An expert assist technician could alter someone's personality, memory, even identity. I'm guessing experts like that don't grow on trees. Definitely not. Changing someone's memories requires a world-class expert in assist and a massive amount of computing power. I'm not entirely sure exactly what they're doing to him, but I'm guessing that his mom wants him to forget something, or to remember it differently maybe. We've got to get to Raymond before he isn't Raymond anymore. That means a run on Prosperity Tower. Isabel and I have been studying the data Plastic Face Man gave us about it. Lots of good intel to mine there. Okay, how do we make our approach? Fortunately, Prosperity Tower is one of Chang's lower security locations. It's mostly administrative, marketing, that sort of thing. That's good. Kindly turns to her enforcer. Mr. Bayo, give the runners those old Chang security passes you used on that hijacking last year. Yes, Miss Cheng, they'll get them. Those passes should get you through the lobby. The triad boss pokes a fingernail between her teeth and dislodges a piece of pastry. He'll still have to explain your presence, Uncle Bob, so don't expect just to walk on through. Okay. What about that junk data you held on to after Wuxing Run, Isabel? Anything in there we can use? Good thinking, and I'm already ahead of you. I scoured the leftover Wuxing paperwork and found a way to change our status to special couriers. We can use that to pose as a third-party Wuxing uses to deliver important packages. That'll work for a while, but we can't expect to stay in cover for long. One way or another, things are gonna get hot. Loading dock sounds like just the edge we need. Let's do it. Okay, I'll get us booked into the Cheng system and print off some matching papers. We'll need a van to make it look legit. Bail? Consider it done. Okay, talk to me about the security setup. How do we get to Raymond? The key to this operation are the three security stations located on different floors. The matrix systems in these security stations are the command and control hubs for the entire building's security. As such, they are the best place to find out where Raymond Black is being held. That's all we've got on his location. All we know is that he's being held somewhere called Lab 12. But where that is or how to get in there is something we will need to figure out on site. If things go hostile, the best thing to do is to get to an alarm panel or a matrix security node and shut things down. If we're noticed, we'll have a brief window to cut the link to the alarm system. If we do that, I will isolate the whole floor from the security system. The rest of the building won't know what's happening there. If the alarm goes off and we cut the link to the alarm system, we can spoof the system, tell it we've moved on to another location. That might work once or twice, but if we spoof too many alarms, they'll figure it out. How long is this brief window to cut the alarm? Maybe 30 seconds, maybe less if the network isn't cluttered with traffic. It's there as a failsafe so security doesn't stampede all over the building if a janitor forgets to close the door. What about guards? Quantity? Training? Standard corp security for the most part, but Chang has a rapid response squad for high priority events. That would be us. Scobbett right? Do you think an intrusion into Lab 12 would qualify as a high priority event? Judging by the way Grandma Chang took out Carter, got shot, and Nightjar, I'd say she isn't interested in anyone getting anywhere near her son. Expect to face Chang's elite security once we find him. What else do we have on the security stations themselves? Staffing, weaknesses? Only one thing worth mentioning. Isabel looks over to Wu. The only way into a security station is with a key card. The guards on each floor carry a card to the station on that floor. So we can get a card by taking them out, but there may be other ways of getting key cards. Wu crosses his arms across his chest. Like I said, the security stations are the key to this operation. They provide multiple opportunities to exploit the system and determine how to approach the rest of our incursion. Yeah, security stations, high priority targets, check. We want to take them fast, before they have a chance to respond. So which station do we hit first? The little Decker purses her lips. No way to know. We'll need to take one of them and use it to determine our next step. It's like we have directions to go find a map. Yeah, that's all I need to know about security. So how do we stop this assist thing from rewiring Raven? All we know is that an assist device is located in Lab 12. It's the only one in the building. I doubt that Grandpa will just hand over the passcodes to her system if we ask nicely. So we'll need a Decker to access the assist device and eject him from the system safely before she scrambles his brain. What does the Decker need to do to eject him? Like I said, we don't know. We are going to have to improvise. Figure that out when we get there. One other thing. While I was helping Duncan verify as much of this data as I could, I decided to collect our marker with Bull and his team of runners. Yeah, good call. We need all the help we can get. Isabel looks up at Wu, her eyes big and round. Yeah, no kidding. Turns out Bull and our runner friend hit Chang a few months ago. Low rent smash and grab for another corp, but they got a quick scan of the building's matrix security before they rabbited it. They gave us data flags that pinpoint where the security nodes are located inside the Chang system. So when we jack into the security station, we'll be able to make a direct attack on the security node. That could just buy us the seconds we need to cut the alarm link. Ah, nice work. Huntley cuts in, licking her fingers with loud smacking noises. One more thing, Uncle Bob. While you're in her headquarters, look for anything we can use to incriminate or embarrass Josephine Tang. I want dirt. Something I can feed to an acquaintance on the executive council. Someone who stands to gain from it. Does the dirt come with a bonus? She pops another egg treat in her mouth, and her eyes close tight with pleasure. Of course, my sweet, of course. Now go enjoy Prosperity Tower. She smiles wolfishly. And give Josephine Chang my regards. How much karma do we have? 27 again. Should I try to bump charisma up? It's this. We moved the plot along again, so there might be some actual happening again. Anything new? Nope. We just have less money each time. Didn't use anything too important, I think. Yeah, we're all set up. We could buy a spell, I suppose. The one that protects us from direct targeting. But, or maybe upgrade the turtling up. Get a better barrier. Gonna have a little bit of cash. Probably it'll be enough. Um, one more to get Hellstorm barrier. Maybe I should take Charisma 9. I mean, I know I don't get anything out of it, but just in case the game throws some kind of massively hard charisma check our way, might be able to take advantage of it. Alternatively, 10 points of health more. But no, I don't think so. I think we want to dump as much into charisma related things. Spirit summoning would still allow us more spirit control. I don't value control too highly because we never have to maintain control of the spirit for too long. The fights simply don't last that long. I think I'll take the charisma. I think this is wasting my points, but you never know. Hellstorm Barrier. Set 5 heavy cover barriers that last 3 rounds. Anyone that enters takes 12 hit points of damage and -1 action damage. Right. I think we'll leave it at that because we need to have some money left available for fetishes. Air barrier or that's just fine. Heavy barrier is generally a proper defensive light as long as you have some kind of cover, that's the important part. But heavy cover protects you quite well from critical hits, and you're much more likely to take half damage. So it really combines all the benefits: good cover, damage to enemies coming through, and sucking up their action points if they come through. Okay, anything new from Dreamland? Good luck with your whole what happened to my father thing. Rough deal. If nothing else, I hope the people responsible get what's coming to them, and that my neural inhibitor program helps to you get some payback. Money coming our way. Nope. Landfall, T-24. We are T-24 hours for Typhoon Usagi to cross the shore. I'm signaling off until tomorrow sometime. See attached list of met sites if you wish to follow storm progress. Typhoon Usagi's periphery will strike Hong Kong within the next 24 hours, with the eye crossing ashore near the Sunshine Pingshansheng megaplex, 80 kilometers southwest of Hong Kong. Usagi has weakened, but meteorologists warn it is still a very destructive storm. Severe damage and flooding are expected in the direct storm path. We now go to a special warning from the HKPF. HKPF and the Security Subcommittee of the Executive Council advise all residents to shelter in place and stay connected to matrix hardlines. A curfew is in effect beginning 1600 hours. Strong electromagnetic interference is expected, shutting down wireless communications. Hong Kong will experience moderate winds and extremely heavy precipitation. Landslides and minor runoff flooding are expected. Citizens are advised to avoid hillside roads and under no circumstance to enter drainage throughs, even to recover lost belongings, or to attempt rescues. Call emergency personnel, who are specially trained and equipped to save lives. The automatic Xinjiang wall has activated at 6:30 this morning, enclosing Victoria Harbour, blocking incoming valves and limiting the storm surge experienced in the harbour to 1/2 meter. The Port Authority indicates that its seawater pump capacity will be easily sufficient to prevent a destructive rise in harbour level, but rolling brownouts are likely as electricity is routed to the seawall pump arrays. Where has everybody gone on the boards? Does the term crunch mean anything to you? People are running. Won't all the security forces be on high alert during the storm? It's a sheer question of resource coverage. I'm assume, like arson in old UCAS cities on Halloween, there are innumerable targets across Hong Kong. High alert can't be maintained at even a fraction of them through a typhoon. This is the fight. This is the fight the A teams on both sides always know is coming. But can't the Corps just plan ahead, hire more people? Blood Meridian, are you there? Anyone? No post. Oh. Guess shit is about to hit the fan. Anything new to discuss? You mean the extracting the plastic-based man? I knew we'd eventually find that guy, but getting the information out of him before he was brainwashed was tense. At least we know that Raymond's alive now. His lips tightened over his teeth. I fucking knew it. Yep, you call it. My gut said that we were being fed a load of bullshit. Glad to be right. Now, we need to get him out of Prosperity Tower before Grandma reprograms him. Man, she sounds like a piece of work, doesn't she? Maybe we'll get to say hi when we bust into her headquarters. He grabs his goggles off the bunk. I wanna see if there's a family resemblance before I drop her. Anyway, enough about that. Need anything else? Definitely no. Just want to make sure we aren't leaving any loose ends here. Walled City. Okay, last run. We're close, Uncle Bob. We're so close I can taste it. A few more hours, maybe a day or two, and you'll have your father back. Josephine Tang is going to get what's coming to her. For you, me, and especially for Nightjar, Godshot, and Carter. And we've got the plastic-faced man to thank for it. I wouldn't have killed the plastic-faced man if I were in your shoes. He was a guy doing a job just like us. It was your call and he knew the risk when he decided to get into this life. I can't fault you for it because you're not me. Just remember that everybody out there has a story, even if you don't know it. Anything else you wanted to know? But that's the point, everyone has a story. Everyone you screw over at the net or Matrix has a story. You're shitting on their work constantly. It's the same way. I wouldn't expect any guard or someone to just let me go out of the goodness of his heart. Hey again, did you need something? I think we're closing in on the end here. With the data we got from the plastic-faced man, Josephine's number is just about up. Cobbett grins, patting you gently on the arm. Just think, you'll be able to get your dad back. That's gotta be worth something, right? Killing the plastic-faced man was probably the smarter course of action. I mean, I don't really have a personal stake in the matter, but not pissing off kindly is usually a checkbox I like to hit on every run. Letting him live would have been an unforgivable slight. As it stands now, everybody wins. Nice. So, what else did you want to chat about? Isabel definitely has this streak of not being up to the survivalist part of this type of environment. I, I don't know what to call it. I guess false morality or misplaced morality in like how you would abuse people's feelings, like showing pictures of starving children in order to get them to contribute to some kind of a donate money to help starving people in Africa or something. While in a way it's not a bad thing. I mean, you see someone starving and in need, you tend to help them. But the reality of the thing is that in many ways you're not really doing all that much help. You don't even know usually where the money actually ends up in. A lot of it can go to administrative costs or nonsense, or you don't really think about how this does the system make sense. I mean, basically, just having dumping welfare on it and support on it will perpetuate and even worsen the situation in many cases, because there you don't really allow things to progress through their natural paths. I don't mean natural in the sense that having mass people starve to death is in any way natural, but in a way that you break the dynamic of the situation. You always act as a safety net, so there's not that much incentive of the people actually causing the problem, causing the lack of food, and to act responsibly. There's the people are less likely to or less inclined to really hold them responsible because there's someone always appears there to wipe their ass to make sure that the worst things will be averted, and you can, I guess, maintain the terrible situation instead of doing the tougher thing and trying to get a more permanent solution. I guess one doesn't necessarily exclude the other. I mean, you can help people and still try to go to a permanent solution, but you really don't usually. You have a huge amount of people becoming reliant on the aid given, and what are they gonna do? They're not in a position to do anything. And but once you have things more or less in control, there might not be crashing. They're manageable enough, so the incentive to push through a change also goes away. There's no pressure behind that movement to change things anymore. So I don't know. It's just because a lot of, I mean, if you treat Africa as a continent, it's more than capable of feeding itself, but it's it's managed incredibly badly. At least part of it. I can't say it's not every country in Africa is a mismanaged shithole. Some of them are, I guess, pulling through, managing just fine. But there are others where you see, is it Zimbabwe these days or what? Used to be a huge production of food for the entire continent, and because of the conflict between blacks and whites, it's now basically a shithole. It's mismanaged. Basically, Harris can't even produce enough food for itself. But yeah, infiltrate Prosperity Tower, find Raymond Black.